Okay guys, so Scrapping Irish here again, doing another little one of my gold recovery videos, or showing some of the material that I can get for gold recovery. So on this one, it's a few projectors. So the ones that have been with me from the very start of my channel, or the ones who have looked back on some of my older videos, will go, oh sure, you've already done that. Yes, that is true. I have already scrapped out these on my channel. But I decided today to redo it again, to scrap some more out, because I have a lot of new subscribers who may not have gone back through the older videos, who have come on the last 6 months or so and are just keeping up to date with the videos as they're coming. So I decided to redo this video, and I'll probably redo one on a laptop at some stage as well, because again, I have a lot of videos there and some people don't bother going back through them, which is fair enough. Like you don't expect people to go spend all day looking at your videos. So what I've done today is I'm going to do two little projectors. I'm going to scrap them out. We're going to see what gold recovery materials we've got inside of them. I've been coming across a lot lately, people saying there's money can't be made from gold recovery, that chemicals cost a lot, blah blah blah. Yes, chemicals can cost a lot. You will need a lot of material to build up before you start to see the recovery. If you take these two projectors and just scrap them out and think you're going to get a lot of gold in 2 items, forget about it. You're wasting your time. What I do is I collect up the boards till I've got a lot, and once I have a lot of them, then I'll process them. So I collect up the pins, I collect up the gold, I collect up the brass off them, aluminium off them. So it's not just the gold recovery I'm doing that. So again, like, I'll collect up the pins, and when I have enough to process, I'll do it then. Not until then. If you start processing small amounts, you will be wasting acid, you will be wasting your time, stuff like that. So let it build up, collect a lot of it, and in the meantime, also I collect copper, I collect brass, I collect aluminium. So that's where I get my little bit of cash flow. That money I use then to buy the assets. I can get acid at a fairly good price. So I've seen online a lot of people saying, oh, it can be expensive. I can get hydrochloric acid 5 litre for less than €10 was the last one I bought. 5 litres, I think it was about 8 something or 9 something. And as you see in some of my videos, I may have shown you where I have my nitric acid, and again I bought 37 litres for was it 70 quid each or something like that. So it was working out £2 a litre, so something like that. So again, that's not overly expensive. And again, nitric acid, I won't be using that much of it all the time. It's used at the final stages, as you'll see in some of my videos as they come along. So that's enough talk, except for one thing, guys. Make sure you hit the subscribe, hit the like, hit the share if you don't mind. Don't forget to check in on my lives on the Monday night, 7 o'clock Irish time, which is 7 o'clock in the UK, 7 o'clock in Ireland. In the US, if you're on the New York side, you're looking 5 hours behind, so probably 2 o'clock, stuff like that. So just, if you don't mind, if you want to join in, have a bit of chat, more than welcome. I just spend 2 hours at it, stick to the 2 hours, and that's it. I'm just trying to get my watch times up. I'll probably keep it up anyhow. I'm enjoying it. So let's get into this, guys. So what I'm going to do first is, like I do in every video, I'm going to remove all these screws. So again, the screws here, the screws underneath, and once I have them all removed, we'll come back and we'll take off the case and we'll have a look and see what sort of materials we've got. So are you ready, guys, to see what we've got underneath? 1, 2, 3. Okay, first layer of screws taken out, and as every good scrapper knows, I'm sure there's a hidden one somewhere. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to try and remove this little, if I can. This was just where the bulb was held, so you can see that's just your little bulb that shone out from the projector. So that was what give you your picture when it shone out this way. It or whichever, yeah, it was that way, I think. I don't know. Pulled it out, now I can't remember which way it was coming, but that would deliver your picture out onto your screen. So looking in there doesn't seem to be any more screws hidden there, but I'm sure there's going to be some hidden somewhere. So we'll do the same with this one. So again, we have to just take out the bulb. Sometimes you might be able to sell those if they're still working, but I do not know if they're working. I have no way of testing them. And I doubt they are, but you never know. So if anyone has a way of testing them, I know what someone's going to tell me to do, plug it in. But just check and see if that's a screw, but it's not. It's just like a little spring, so that must be to let it know when it was in. You can't really see it in there, but it would tell it that the bulb was located in there, so it's just probably a safety switch of sorts. And as you can see, I don't know how I missed one screw, but I did. Well, I didn't really miss it actually, it was loosened, but hadn't fallen out. There we go. So these are Sanyo make, if anyone's wondering what make they are. So Sanyo Pro Extra projector. So right, let's see, can we get this case off? Let's see, can we get this case off? So what I'll do is I'll rise you up there a bit and give you a better view from the top, because we'll be trying to pry it open. So we'll just take off this plastic case all the way around. So it's coming away a bit easier than I thought it would be, but I'm sure there's still something holding it somewhere. There always is. So there we go. A lot easier than I thought. So we'll have a look now at the main board. So we've some aluminium or stainless steel. I'll test that with a magnet and see if that's an aluminium, but I think it feels like aluminium or aluminum, as some of the people would like to call it. A little low grade board by the looks of it. So my next stage will be, now that I've done this far, is I'm going to remove all these screws. On the next layer on both of these, again I'll do the same on both, and we'll come back once I've that done. So here we are. Right, so the old screw pile is getting a bit bigger. So I've removed most of the screws I could see. Another screw for the screw pile. And we're going to see did these come out in sections. So this one seems to come out in a lump. So what we'll do first is we'll remove the wires. So again we'll have some low grade copper wire off these as well, which go into my copper wire pile that needs to be sorted at some stage because it's getting a bit out of hand. If anyone has seen any of my lives, you see I was cutting some copper wire a few weeks back, trying to get the pile down a bit. So okay, let's see if more copper wire stuck. These two. Okay, some more over here. Snip it. So there's some sort of catching it there. So I think we're getting there. Okay, so we've some little plugs here on the side just holding it in. So if we just click them in. Okay, so we have our board nearly off. I just see a few screws that need to be taken off here, and we should be able to get the board off then. So we'll just leave that aside for a second and we'll just start digging down into this. So we have what I thought was aluminium, so we'll just test it with a magnet and see. No, unfortunately it's not. So worthless to me anyhow. So I'm sure it's the same with this one. No, actually this one is aluminium. So at least one bit of aluminium. On to the next part. Let's see what's holding this in. So again we have some wires running down with some more screws. So what we'll do is we'll remove the rest of these screws now again, because this is what I'm going to have all the way along. I'm going to have layer upon layer upon layer of screws. So we'll just take the sections apart and go to the screws then. So as I say, this will come off in one section. So it's just a matter of releasing it out, finding where it's plugged in. This is the power board. So we'll just cut the wires and cut the wires. So I'm going to do that with both of them now. I'm just going to take them out. I'll take my boards out, and then we'll start on I'll take out the next layer of screws, and that should let out the next part of the board to release out my what's hidden underneath here. So I'll do that with both of them, and we'll come back and I'll have remove these screws here as well to take this little bit of a power board off, so that we can get access to the board and get a right look at the board. We need to remove this little bit of what seems to be aluminium as well from it. Just check and see if it is aluminium. Unfortunately, no. Magnet sticks, no aluminium. So that will go in the waste steel. We have some wire sticking out. We'll just have a look at this. I want to just double check and see if this is gold fingered wire, or is it just, but it looks like it's a gold fingered wire, which is good to find. So as you can see, it is. So we've got our little gold fingers on them, which I'll be working on in later videos. So catch you all again in a second, guys. Okay, so the screw pile is getting ever bigger. Now, I wouldn't usually go to all this trouble to break something like this down. I'd usually use the Ian Matthews method of belting it with a hammer to get to the boards and to get to what I need to get to, but I just said for the video's sake we'll strip it completely down. So we have a little fan, which I'll put aside. Can always be useful for some use, I'm sure. I'm like Ian Matthews now, keeping stuff for the sake of keeping it. If any of you haven't checked out any of Ian's videos, have a look at his latest videos. So again, just steel on that and plastic, so worthless to me. Check out his videos. He's doing a bit of a clean up in his shed, and he's come to the conclusion that he holds on to stuff for no good reason at all, which is what most scrappers will do. Now let's see where we're going here. Okay, so we have a little lens. Ooh. So that was used to project the whatever you were watching. So again, I'll keep the lenses aside. Probably never use them for anything, but I'll keep them. So again, that's steel, worthless. So do we have another lens here? We do. This is totally different again. I'm sure someone can find a use for them. Or so that's got aluminium around it. So what I'll do is I'll take that apart. So again, there's a few little torque head screws holding it in place and some regular screws, so we'll just take that off. So all these little bits of aluminium add up. A lot of people will throw them away. I just hold on to them. It all adds up. It adds up in your monthly, whenever you're bringing your stuff to the scrapyard, it'll add up. No, it's up to yourself. You can just throw it all in your shred if it's a lot easier if you do that. But again, when I scrap it out, I don't have a big area of storage. I have a small shed, so the easiest way is to break it down into the smallest possible components. So that's what I'm doing here. So there's my little bit of aluminium that I've taken off, and again I'll put that separate with the aluminium, and I'll just keep the lens. So again, there's still a bit of aluminium around that lens, but there we go. Try not to break it, cut my hand to bits. So that's that, a little bit of aluminium. I see another torque screw that I missed, so probably another lens on that. It seems to be any of them torque screws had a lens on them. So there again we have our lens, different colour, reddish. That one was green and then there was a clear, so that must be what give you your colours. So again, you can take that off, keep your aluminium and do whatever you want with the lens. So trying to see where to go from here. I thought I had everything loosened, but I mustn't have. Must be some more hidden screws somewhere. So again, just some plastic, another little cooling fan. We have another screw down hidden under here and a little bit of a board. So again, we'll put the board aside for the moment and we'll come back to it. We've got another screw. So anyone that is new to the channel, if you want to have a look back at when I scrapped one of these out before, the video will be there somewhere. I might link it here at this spot. If not, I'll probably link it at the end. So, okay, here we go. We're getting near the end. So we'll just cut the wires off there and we'll cut the wires off here. So, and more wires. Okay, so I'm just going to put that aside for a second. There doesn't seem to be much left. So what we're left with here is a big chunk of plastic, and this is a big nice chunk of aluminium. So again, what I'll try and do, break that down a bit further. So we've got some screws along here that need to be taken out, and that should allow me into the aluminium, which I'll do now in a second. Looking around it, doesn't seem to be much more to it. Just a plastic case which kind of pops off, so we'll pop that off in a minute. We'll have a look underneath and see if there's anything. Sometimes you might be lucky and you can find a chip, a ceramic chip which has gold on it. So if you're lucky enough to find one of them, makes it worthwhile. So we'll just get it closer in here for this breakdown. So might as well take off this front cover here first, and see if there's anything of value underneath it. It'd help if I got the right screwdriver. Still not the right screwdriver, is it? Or is it just the angle I'm at? Still not the right screwdriver. That's the trouble when you have too many screwdrivers on the counter, just getting the right one. There we go. So sometimes you can be lucky, and as I say, you can find ceramic chips inside of these. I found one in the last time I done these videos. So if you want to go back, you'll see what a ceramic chip looks like. I don't see any in this one. This doesn't seem to have it. Some of the older ones will have the ceramic chip in it. And one more up here. And another one over here. Okay, so there's no chip in behind or anything like that. Again, a little mirror of sorts. Again, we'll have aluminium around it. Again, we have a chunky piece of glass in here that I want to get to show people. So we'll get to that in a second. Let's get a look at this. So again, there's some very small screws there. I might just take them off and we'll have a look underneath in case there's a chip anywhere in it, but it doesn't look like there is. Sometimes you can be lucky and you might get a chip. So I'll pause it while I take off all these little screws, and I'll just remove this plastic front off it as well, because we don't need to have that on it. That's just what used to focus in and out. So for getting a better image on the screen, you'd use that. I just want to clean off your aluminium as best you can, just to make sure there's nothing left, so you get the higher value for your aluminium. So I'll pause it there. When you come back, I'll have all the screws taken out. Okay, so this item here, I'll just actually zoom it out a bit first. We're a bit too close there. We'll move it out a bit, get a better look. Okay, so this item here, I'm not going to break down any further because I broke one down and it's not worth anything. So I'll just show you what was in it. So when you split it open, you'll end up with a rake of these little mirrors of sorts, or reflectors, and different gradients of them. So If that's something you could be used for, then strip it down and take them out. If not, just leave them in there. No need to have them out unless you have a use for them. Just wasting your time taking them out unless you have a use for them. So I'm just taking them out to show you what's in there. If I can get this one out, there we go. So that's a little bit of aluminium just over that one, and that's the, again, it magnifies stuff up or makes it smaller depending on which way it's turned. So I have another 2 bits in here, but they'll probably break if I try and take them out, so I'll leave them where they are because I don't want glass all over the place. Then we had this device like that. So when you take that apart, you get a little bit of a cast aluminium, a bit more aluminium, and one of these little glass. So the glass thing is in the center here. That's it in there. So that's what you get when you take it apart, with these little bits of aluminium. So again, the aluminium is what I was looking for. The glass I wasn't. These ribbons I just cut off because I want the gold fingers from them. So again, I have them here and here. So that's what I'm looking for, them for the gold fingers. The rest I have no interest in. And again, it's not worth taking all that apart just to get that small little bit of cast aluminium. I'll leave that as it is. The other items you probably notice is these connectors. So they will be brass a lot of the time. So again, you can trim them off and put them in your brass. So we have a few of them there. So we'll just put them all in the brass. We have a lot of cable. So I need this made it this far through without falling asleep. You're getting to see what is inside it. So then inside of here, we're going to have a power board. So we just take that off. Try and remove the covers so it'll let us into it. So looks like there's a screw somewhere, but I don't see them. Could be just a wire holding it, so we'll just trim the wire. Yeah, it's just the wire holding it. So again, we have more wire over here. So take that off. We're into our little case. I just want to see if there's any screws holding it anywhere. There is 4 little screws, so we'll take them out quickly. Or not so quickly if I can't find the screwdriver. Because I just want to get to the final boards. The main part that I look after to try and hold on to from a gold recovery side of things, this is more for the copper, these boards. This board here will have copper on it, will have a bit of aluminium on it, will have a few transformers maybe, something like that, so you'll have a few copper transformers. So again, another pile of screws. As you can see, we have a good lot of screws out of this item. Right, let's see, what's the easiest way of getting this out? Could use the Ian Matthews method of just baiting it out with a hammer. But I want to try and get it out in one lump, which is not going to be easy because, as you can see down here, there's a screw holding it way down here at the bottom. So there's a screw that's in there, so I'm not going to even bother taking that apart, or am I? I hate not taking it apart. So I do. I hate not taking it apart. So we're going to smash it of sorts. There we go. So wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be for the first part. So let's just cut the wires. Couldn't be bothered even trying to. So then we have our magnet, and the magnet doesn't stick. So that's aluminium. It's welded, so again we'll take that off, cut that off. That's the only way of getting that off, quickest way of getting it off. Little transformer, nice copper reel in here, little spool of copper, another bit of copper, so it's in there. And then the bottom board we have, again, nice little bit of copper, as you can see in here, and over here we have some copper. Some MOSFETs, and there seems to be some sort of board with chips on it, so I'm actually going to take that one out because maybe something worth keeping off that board for gold recovery, which is the main reason I do these. And another one over here. Let's see. Where are we being held? Can't figure it out because I've taken out the screw that was holding it there. And I'm taking out the screw that was holding it down there, and the screw that was holding it there, and the screw that was holding it there, so it should just come out. Maybe. Just needs a bit of persuasion. Because these clips here are bent in the way, so they're the ones that are holding it in. So we've got them two off, and then we'll have two more this side, same thing. They're bent in the way, so we'll just bend them out, and I should let the board out. This is the board I want you to have a look at. So yeah, there's some nice little chips on it, some IC chips. Now, so looking at it, we've some IC chips and little spots of gold on it, little spottings, not much, a few little spots of gold on it. So put it in with the boards, the gold boards, and that's a closer look at the aluminium there. We have little aluminium which the MOSFETs are connected to. We've some more copper spools, another copper and more copper, so again not too bad. A few more MOSFETs which will have copper in them, so that's what's on that. And the final bits, again these are my ribbons, so we can add these into the ribbon pile with the gold fingers on them. So you can see that the gold there, so it's not much, but it all adds up. If you have enough of them, it's like anything, if you have enough of them they'll make it worthwhile. So we're just going to snip this off where the welds are and see if there's anything underneath it worth taking off the board. So we'll just bend it back a bit. So it seems to be a few IC chips. Hopefully that's a gold cornered VGA, because it looks like it is, so that'll make it worthwhile. It'll be another one to add to my collection, and we'll be soon processing them in a video coming up, so make sure you're subscribed if you want to see how to get the gold out of them. Oh, two in there, not too bad, better still. Okay, so you can see here gold cornered PGA, and underneath here is another gold cornered PGA, and that's like a heat sink or heat paste. So I don't know, can I move that So that'll take a bit of removing. There we go. So you can see that's just like it's hardened over time. It's an epoxy that was used to disperse the heat, I think. So if we can remove the rest of it, that's it off. So we get a look at the chip. So again, we have Pixelworks chip with a gold corner in it. So if you want to see how to get the gold out on them, check out some of my upcoming videos. I've started a series on them. So if you want to have a look and see how you get the gold out of them. So that's not too bad. That's two nice chips there. Another IC chip here. A few more MOSFETs. Some more IC chips or flat packs, some people call them. Like them there. More here, more here. There's an MLCC in there. Crystal oscillator. That's kind of it. Very, very poorly gold there. Nearly wearing away, it's that bad. So you need an awful lot of them to make it worth while getting the gold from it. So that's what's underneath that, and I'm presuming this one is the exact same, but we might as well check it and we'll do it quick. So we'll speed it up. By cutting across it, hopefully. Well, that should speed it up a bit. I might end up cutting my finger on it, but we'll have a go at it anyhow. So that's just one more well there. And yeah, so it's the exact same again. And same chip underneath here. So two nice gold capped or gold cornered BGAs, which make it a bit more worthwhile. So it's not too bad. As you can see, there's a lot of copper wire we got there. We've got a lot of screws, no use for. Good nice bit of copper in the power boards. We have a little bit of copper in here, and this little power board that was on them as well. So there's two of them in each one of them. There's the second one. So same thing again. You got a little bit of copper, and we've got our little gold corner BGA. So that's two more to add to the collection. So that's kind of it for the video, guys. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for watching it again. If you've already seen this one before, thanks for watching it again. And until the next one, keep on looking for that gold, guys, and don't forget to keep checking out my lives on a Monday evening.